That's how everybody talks about Dallas today. A few weeks ago, they mocked my Dallas predictions. They mocked the things I had to say about their ceiling this season. But now everybody's talking about the formula to win the game. Well, that's everybody except for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys and Eagles square off this weekend. It's a game the Eagles have to win. I mean, they have to win if they have any hope of winning the NFC East. They both get to 9-7. The winner of this game will hold the tiebreaker. They're 3-1 in the division, both teams. So if the Eagles, who are a game back of the Cowboys, want to compete, they not only have to go 3-1, they're 6-6 today, go 3-1 with games scheduled against the Cowboys, Rams, and Texans coming up, and then the Redskins again, but they need to start with a win against the Cowboys. And some guy I've never heard of, some linebacker, I think I read he averages 2 tackles a game. I'm not even sure I'm going to pronounce this right, okay? So just forgive my level of professionalism in my broadcasting. I never heard of this dude. Camu, Grugier-Hill. Well, he said a few things about the Cowboys this week. He said, and I quote, "Look at Dallas history." This is via John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia. "Look at Dallas history. They always choke. So we'll go down there and make them choke." That's some big talk. Camu, Grugier-Hill. Who is this guy? Bubba, who is this guy? I never heard of this guy.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Who is this guy?
2 tackles a game. Vander Esch averages 2 a play.
He tackles 2 men on the same play. That's exactly right, Bubba. I don't know if you're making a joke or you're actually talking about that time. Did you see the time he tackled the blocker and the running back behind the blocker? He was like, I can't quite get to the running back, so to hell with it. I'm going to tackle them both. Who is this guy, Bubba?
Who the f*** is that guy?
Oh, man. I don't know. That kind of bulletin board material. I just had Teddy Bruschi on the show, and I don't really know. I mean, Teddy Bruschi and the New England Patriots knew a thing or two about bulletin board material. I wish I would have asked him his favorite Belichick bulletin board material moment, his favorite bulletin board material story, but that's got to be up there. I mean, Stephen A. was verklempt this morning on First Take because, of course, he wants the Cowboys to lose, and he realizes some no-name linebacker saying we're going to go make them choke is exactly the kind of thing that Zeke needs to eat. Know your role. Know your role. Ron in Florida. What's up, Ron? You're on the Will Cain Show.
Well, first time, like the show, but I have to admit, you know, you're a lawyer. They teach you to go to college. They teach you to think critically. And on the Green Bay Packers situation over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been listening, and I just don't think you're thinking critically in the sense of this. Aaron Rodgers has had substandard players for years, not for 1 or 2 years, for years. He has been perfect. Perfect in every way, like such slaying the Dallas Cowboys a couple of years ago, a game that I saw, which I really thought the Dallas Cowboys were a better team, but he threw a perfect pass. Or yesterday when he talked about his comebacks where he had 19, Dax had 12. Well, he's only had 19 because he's always been winning. The simple fact is it's the greatest, to me, one of the greatest travesties in sports that we've underutilized his talent. People should go to jail because Aaron Rodgers has been robbed by not having the proper talent around him. And when I look at the upper management of the Packers, and obviously Ted Thompson's went away, and now we've got someone else, making, he's got a hard name to say, so bear with me on that. But we got us making choices, picking players. You know, we fire the coach. Do I think does he hold some of the blame? Yep. I think I've watched him this year. I think maybe he's doing it on purpose sometimes.
All right, hold on, Ron. You're giving me a lot of material to critically think about. Let's go through them together, okay?
All right. That's a terrible thing. I've been thinking about this for 3 weeks.
Okay, well, I'm glad you have time to prep it. We only have a couple minutes, but I think we can walk through 3 main points here we can critically analyze together. If you admit he hasn't been that good this year, then he hasn't been perfect, correct?
but I think the last 5 or 6 years, he has been perfect.
But we're talking about that analysis. My analysis that requires him to be perfect is under the guise of his new contract, the kind of contract that requires a team to take subpar players around a guy who commands so much your salary cap space, thus making the quarterback be perfect, a la Drew Brees in New Orleans. And you admit he hasn't been perfect this year playing under this new contract.
I'll agree with that completely.
Okay. Second, regarding the game-winning drives, he has 19, Dak has 12. You contend that's because he's always playing ahead. I don't think that's true. I think we could go back and look at it game by game, but this is not a team that's been going 12-4, 13-3 year in and year out. He's had this team, and we don't have to assign blame right now, but it's been around a 9-7, 10-6, 8-8 type team on most seasons, which means you're in games coming down to the last minute. That means you would need game-winning drives. You would have opportunities for them. Yes?
Yes, but if I come back and if I actually want to go study that, I believe he's been winning more than he's been losing, and I would have to contest that with you and say that.
Okay, we could go back.
We need further analysis.
We could go back because I admit I'm making an assumption on that, and I'm down to 30 seconds. But the last round, I'm going to have to let you go, and you can hear this part. Regarding Aaron Rodgers and what he needs, I think you're taking as an insult. I can at the same time tell you the parts of Aaron Rodgers' game that are great, and we can be critical thinkers and honest about the parts that fall short. And right now, his locker room presence and his leadership have clearly been indicted by enough to say it's falling short. That tells us what kind of coach he needs. Aaron Donald, MVP, next.